Qteep, brother, why don't you follow your own advice? Instead of uploading the video you uploaded in regards to Ethan and Ian, iDubbbz, and H3H3, why didn't you go out and touch grass? Brother, I did touch grass, and then I came inside and recorded that video. I'm built different. I can do both. But also, the entire point of the video, I brought it up multiple times, was that we should not be going to YouTubers about geopolitical issues, especially YouTubers who had pretty much zero conversation in the topic before a certain event happened. I think that Ethan has a personal reason. I think that people like Hassan, who have pretty much been all about politics, that's like their entire thing, it makes sense for them to have takes on these types of things. Right or wrong, I'm not going to get upset when I see Hassan have a take on Israel and Palestine because he's very invested in these types of things. It extends beyond just, I know there's going to be people who are like, but he's a grifter and he only does it for the views. Yeah, but he's at least, I can genuinely say that before recent events, it was a topic that he was most likely invested in, right? 90% of the YouTubers that have come out of the woodworks, either being pro-Israel or pro-Palestine, either side, have no clue, had no clue what was really going on before the recent events. And that also includes me. Am I a professional on this topic? No. But at no point did I tell you how you should feel about Israel and Palestine in any way. I feel it's a complicated issue where no matter what your opinion is on it, you're going to get people mad at you. What's very upsetting is that, I mean, at its core, people are dying, civilians are suffering, and it's very unfortunate when that happens across the board. Maybe that opinion pisses some people off, but it is what it is. As far as me being a professional, though, not at all. What I do find funny is how many people seem to be super upset at the idea of me implying that grass should be touched. Like, that's where you draw the line on these issues. I don't know. I just, like, of all the things you could say, the touch grass aspect is like, whoa. You're crossing the line there, Qteep. I'm going to tell you right now, the difference between me and you, brother, is I'm not watching any videos about YouTube drama from anyone other than the people that are involved in the drama. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm built differently than you, brother. I have not watched 100 other videos from other channels and their output on a specific topic. I usually don't do that. Why? Because it's insanely easy to go down a rabbit hole. I guarantee you, I could find a channel that has the same amount of views mine does, right? 100 or so views, and they could be 100% pro iDubbbz, pro Palestine, and within 10 videos, my algorithm will be just nonstop pro Palestine conflict. Or I could go the other way, pro Israel, and that's going to be my algorithm. I don't have the time for that, brother, because not only do I have to touch the grass, but I have to water it, okay? I've got to make sure it's watered. I care a lot about my lawn. You understand? I am built different than you are. And look at the farmer stand I have. Do you see this disconnect here? That's from the grass touching. I'm going to have to go outside and start showing the goods off, right? Whenever I do yard work in order to even out my farmer's tan. I'm out there touching the grass, brother. I'm feeling the grass. I'm not only am I touching the grass, I am nurturing it, all right? This is part of the problem, though, because y'all leave comments like this and y'all don't know me. You don't realize my thought process on this. Most of these streamers and some of these YouTubers recently, right? Because some of these YouTubers used to upload once a month and really think out their content. A lot of them now are just doing streams. But it is what it is. The amount of effort that it takes for me to hit start recording and yap for even 30 minutes is insanely easy. The process of me forming thoughts in no script, forming thoughts in my brain and then yapping them out onto the internet, insanely easy. Oh, you're not, what? So you're saying you're not putting any thought into it? Maybe so. Maybe you shouldn't take my opinion on anything that serious either, right? But I do find it funny that what you're honing in, what you're focusing on, the thing that you counter, argue against the most is, maybe you should take your own advice. That's out of everything. And I realized that because uh, I didn't like pick a definitive side on the geopolitical issue that all of your favorite YouTubers have become armchair professionals on, that you couldn't feel like a good avenue to attack me on. You know, you couldn't, oh, is he pro genocide? Is he anti genocide? I'm anti genocide, brother. Just kind of across the board. All right. Genocides, don't like them. There you go. You have me on record saying that. But I also believe that there's a bit of nuance to this complicated issue that a lot of American YouTubers who barely know anything about it are becoming very radical on both sides of the spectrum and getting their viewers to also become radical. And both of these communities, they're all getting everyone to harass each other. And everyone thinks they're justified because they've been harassed. Well, they harassed me, so I harassed them. And I got this person sent over there, and I did that. You all fucking suck. I mean, like, you all genuinely suck. You're all just basically talking about how much better you are, how much more you care. And as far as what you're actually doing, nothing at fucking all. Do you think that there's a politician that is going to watch a Hassan stream? Do you think that there's a politician watching an Hassan stream going, you know what? I do feel that Israel is not doing the right thing. I'm going to ensure that Israel gets no more money. We're stopping this. Do you think that's happening? A fucking course not. A fucking like the last election is a prime example of just how non-influential these YouTubers and streamers are when it comes to actually getting votes. Like, sure, they grow their fan bases and they get a lot of people arguing online for sure. But look at the voter turnout in 2024, much less than it was in 2020, which made sense because that was the pandemic. Some people probably had more free time. A lot more people were mailing things in. Fast forward to 2024, and we start to return to like the 2016 numbers. Trump's numbers weren't super high this time around. It's just that Democrat numbers went back to around Trump's numbers. They weren't super far ahead. So what have any of these fucking people done except for whine all day and get all of you to get heavily invested into a topic that does absolutely nothing in the long run because none of these people do shit except say that it's easy. It's easy to say that you care. It's hard to go out to communities and improve the lives of people around you. It's easy to hop on a stream and say you care a lot about people that are across an ocean because it's human emotion to care a lot about other people when they're in distress. It's normal, right? I know that there's this whole thought process of like learning empathy in your 30s or whatever. Some of us have had empathy for a lot. Like we knew about that this whole empathy thing, and we understood that it was a bit more complicated of a matter than just like not saying no words. Having empathy doesn't just mean that like you always have the solution. So that's the problem with empathy is there's a lot of times where you have empathy for a situation, but you know that deep down there's not a solution that you yourself can really work towards. But the problem is a lot of people online, they know they don't have these solutions. They know they're not doing anything. They know that their fan base was already kind of going to be catered to how they felt about a specific topic. Like a part of the reason that Ethan's having so many issues is because he's completely kind of flipped on the whole politically correct avenue of things. And I've said this many times. I've said it many times. It only is going to be a matter of time before Ethan says something and his new fans are going to be upset. But how mad can you be when you pulled in these types? It's like what he did with, what's his name? Jordan Peterson, right? And I'm not a fan of like Jordan Peterson going off complaining about trans people 24/7. Let's just say that trans people aren't like the peak of like what I think is making the world fall apart. It is what it is. Some people feel differently. It's fine. But I didn't like the way that Ethan handled that whole situation because it was obvious that he was cool with Jordan Peterson. And then once it kind of became no longer, I guess, beneficial for him to be cool about Jordan Peterson, he kind of flipped. And honestly, he might just genuinely believe it. I just didn't like the way that he did like a public announcement. Like, we get it. If I was in your shoes and I started to see the way he was going, I'm probably going to have a personal conversation with him and say, hey, man, this is what it is. And if he disagrees with me, then, probably not going to be on the podcast anymore. And then maybe eventually, if somebody asks, I'll say, yeah, I talked with him. I didn't like what he was saying about this and this and this. And we had a conversation and we agreed to disagree, but I can't really have him on because I disagree with him on this thing. The way Ethan handled it was, yeah, he sucks dick. He sucks donkey balls, dude, which is a very Ethan way to handle things, which is why me personally, I'm not going to get super upset. I'm just going to say I didn't like the way he handled it. But because he's involved in so many political circles now, you're not dealing with like regular people who are just like, oh, he disagrees with him. I mean, it makes sense. He disagrees with him. He doesn't want to have him on. You're dealing with psychos. You're dealing with insane people. You understand what I'm saying here? I don't know, man. Why don't I follow my own advice? I do. I'm built different. I can, contrary to popular, how long was that video? Like 15 minutes? Why is my studio loading so slow? It was 19 minutes. Do you know how many hours are in a day? 24. Now, I usually sleep about 6 to 7 of those, okay? So we can subtract some of that time. And I do have a job. But even outside of that job, I know that you go home and you eat chips and you watch Netflix or YouTube for the rest of the day. Some of us, we hit start record and we record for 20 minutes. And then we go outside and we do our duties, We mow the lawn, we water the lawn. We spend time outside because it's good for you. We exercise because we're built different. You, I don't know, you come across as a basement dweller, brother. So do with that what you want.